So, Lil Yachty is back with another tape to piss people off, and I'm just at this point that I think Lil Yachty is a glutton for punishment, dog. He's addicted to rage baiting, bro. He loves this shit. You got to at this point. You got to, because you haven't learned your lesson, or he's just an asshole, man. You know, that just might be it. But he was talking about how old school hip hop was weak as hell. We're gonna talk about that. But me personally, I just don't understand why he's so overly defensive of his position as a weak rapper. Not the best lyricist. He's been trying his best, but you know, he just has this thing with the way that he talks. He sounds like Meatwad from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, so it doesn't come across the best, you know. But he's trying, I'll give him that. And he inspired an amazing J. Cole verse with Secret Weapon, so I appreciate you for that, Yachty. But nigga, it's been a lot of trash lyricists that exist, but you happen to keep finding yourself in this position. Why?
Important because we got so many incredible artists, but also there was so much crazy bullshit that kind of came out of that era as well.
But every era, you know, so funny. I remember when I went to do my research on just like the music that came before me. It was a lot of bullshit that came out in the 90s.
I mean, that's fair.
A lot of bullshit that came out in the fucking 80s and early 2000s, but they act like only the 2016 and up.
I just think it was a little more. I think it was a little more. It was a little more elevated.
Sure,
the amounts of bullshit,
but not all of it.
No, you're right.
There's some stuff out there but it's so crazy. I remember in 2016, before I did my research, I didn't know this. If it was 2016 and I knew it was so much bullshit in the 90s, I'd be like, yo, y'all fucking tripping. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of weak ass shit going on out there. And just to be, as a matter of fact, actually, you know what's so crazy to me? I think about all the time. I always think about the first song in hip hop. I hope this don't frighten me. It probably will. And I always think about a hip, a hop, a hip,
Rapper's Delight.
Up and the boom, take a bing. You know what I'm saying? And I be thinking like, damn, bro, y'all be really acting like we just got down, like we got down, just couldn't, like we was the only niggas saying some shit that didn't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? Niggas was hipping and hopping in. And I'm like, come on, bro, that shit was weak as hell, bro. Like, niggas be acting like, no, bro, come on. Yeah, I do shoot my brother to the store, and I went in the grocery store with it. Come on, bro. Y'all acting like that shit wasn't weak. That shit was dumb weak, bro. But niggas be acting like we was the only ones that made some crazy shit. I think, I agree with you. I do think that there was more intention, probably, right? You had a DMX, and you had a Busta Rhymes, and you had a Tupac, and you had all these
Tribe Called Quest,
all these, of course, and you know, yes, you had all these Prodigy and Mobb Deep. So you did have, there was a lot more. You know what I will say? I think that hip hop lost its, like, it's what's the word for, like, just like the way there was division. Like, if you was from the West, you sounded like it. If you was from the North, you sounded like it.
Yeah, I think the region, I feel like the internet removed,
I guess, distinctiveness.
Yeah, and there was also, I feel like, a lot more subgenres back in the day, because we'd be like, because back in the day, you would look at like Volume 2 from Jay-Z, and that would be commercial rap.
Right.
But then there'd be like Black Star's album, which would be like Most Def Until Quality. That was like backpack shit. But it's like nowadays, I feel like everything just kind of like nowadays, like weirdly enough, like even though Playboi Carti is one of the biggest rappers in the world, like he's like he's an underground rapper, low key.
You think so? I mean, I think that
like I feel like to a lot of people, like if you think like how big just like a guy like Destroy Lonely is, right? He's still kind of underground.
Yeah, I guess because he don't have any radio records. But just because he don't have any radio, Carti really don't be having.
Rather Lie was a big record, but I just mean like, the underground is big.
I get what you mean.
There's like the world, the internet has removed. Agree with that, yeah. The internet has removed kind of all the barriers.
For sure. I just feel, and I think it's only hip hop though. I feel like we the only genre that doesn't. We don't really we don't categorize and subgenre our genre enough. I think that we just kind of like put it on the playing field of just like hip hop or rap instead of like really cutting into the depth of the genre, because I think that there's a place for all of it. For sure. Know? I feel that when you smack it all under one lane, it's when it gets a little tricky as to what is what. But I feel like all of it counts. For sure. You know?
I think there's something to that. I say that all the time, that black art needs more categories. I feel that shit for sure, because there's no way we should be comparing Lil Yachty to Tupac and Biggie at all. And the flattening of hip hop may be the reason why we are in the position that we're in.
I think that was where we got lost in the beginning in 2016 when you know 2016, that era, that draft class of artists came in, I think that the conversation, first off, the genre is so brand new, it's so young that I think even younger 10 years ago that the conversation was so fresh and it was evolving in front of everyone's eyes to be able to have that conversation of, oh no, this is rap just like anything else is rap. This is just this is a new era. This is a new genre. This is a new demographic. I mean, I don't know, like we were on the verge of, not on the verge, we broke an entire new wave of rap, right? And I think that since our genre again is so new, and our genre is so egotistical, and our genre is so macho, and our genre is so this and straight, like straight down the narrow path, the narrow is this, the street is trap, all these codes and ethics that come with it, that when you got this something that's completely different than what we are used to, it's like, whoa, we don't understand this, that ain't hip-hop, that ain't right. Then it becomes, that's when it becomes a hit. But
okay, so let's talk about the clip part of the interview when he was going in on Rapper's Delight. I seen Knife Wonder, producer, talk about the situation. He says, everybody, some folks mad at Yachty for what he said, Rapper's Delight. The bigger issue is a lack of communication between the generations, which isn't easy. However, I try my best to engage the next generations, especially in the classroom or in general convo, because I can agree, a lot of us older hip-hoppers or fans of the culture aren't the best conduits passing the torch, even if its information hasn't been as successful as we would have liked for it to be. It's almost like we want the next generations to already know, but then get mad when they don't, and then get mad when they ask, saying they should know, not knowing some of this stuff 30 to 40 years ago. Shouts to the youngest that know, shouts to the ones that don't know, and shouts to the ones that want to know. My tweet street's always open for questions about the culture. I didn't learn through Google. I learned through song and living in real time. So I get why you would want to as well. So that's that. So it seemed like he's shooting him some build, but this dude says, I agree with him. And Knife responded saying, I don't actually agree, being the fact that the part he's talking about is basically the hook to the song. And that song dropped in 1979, not 1992. Dude says, I think there's a bigger point he's making here. Rap started off like that, but we be trying to pretend it was always this lyrical thing. Knife says, yeah, but to use that one song and then mention the 90s ain't it. There's a lot of music that dropped between 1979 and 1990, and trust me, that rap that we, not mainstream, respected and played has something to say. And dude says, in conclusion, every era has had weak stuff. We gotta stop pretending hip-hop only has weak stuff now. Knife says, nah, in conclusion, the amount of weak stuff is greater than the other generations. You can't take the first phone and call it trash when it was the first phone. LOL. Facts. That right there perfectly sums up everything, man. We have regressed, bro. We have regressed. I love hip-hop when it's full in range of all the different genres. I enjoy all the genres of hip-hop. But that SoundCloud era that Yachty was talking about, not many lyricists came from that shit. It wasn't a lot of range. Or the lyricists that was in that group didn't continue to grow, bro. They did not continue to grow. I think low-key maybe the big three was just too damn good that anyone else just couldn't compete as far as cut through. And then the big issue is the hip-hop media. I believe hip-hop media damaged rap, along with the fans. When hip-hop media and blogs realized that controversy sells, they started to focus more on characters. And then as these algorithms on social media built, you'll see much more content that focused on what brought engagement in. So then in 2016, 2017, you started to see meme rappers, all right? Meme rappers replaced one-hit wonders. So in the past, where a rapper would have one hit that went crazy, a meme rapper would stay alone because then their name becomes a term in the algorithm that always has traction, because the bot now knows that this code generates engagement. So when people post that shit goes to the top of the damn feed and people engage in that shit. And blogs seeing that begin to champion and push those artists, because the resistance alone to these artists brought views, engagement, and money to these blogs. So you have someone like Academics. I'm not trying to shit on Academics, I'm just making a case study observation. You have someone like Academics who, I remember him saying, when I post 6ix9ine, I have thousands, 2,000 comments or some shit. He knows how to get the internet going. People like Academics will see those trends and then continue to push those type of artists. When in comparison, a lyricist or someone who focuses just on the craft, they're not doing all those things. That's why I call them meme rappers, dog. And I think over time, younger kids that's growing up, getting into rap, they see that shit and they looking at it like, damn, this is what I got to do to get on. So they're not focusing on being the best rapper to get on. They trying to be the best character to get on. Music comes secondary to a lot of these niggas, dog. So I get what y'all Yachty saying as far as there being weak shit back then, but we grew past that point as more subgenres came to light. But right now, the mainstream focus outside of the big heavy hitters, the quality is not there. And then even when it comes to the subgenres, a lot of them ain't even making hits. At least Soulja Boy made a smash hit. Y'all niggas suck at that shit too. So you ain't good at rapping, and then you're not even good at being trash. But alright, man, it is what it is though. Y'all gotta let me know what you gotta say in the comment section below. I'm going to get up out of here though. This is another update with Stace. Yo.